Excavation Profits Podcast by Excavation Marketing Pros. Interviews with successful excavation and septic business owners, revealing how they market and grow their business in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they're doing to keep their phone ringing, equipment running, and businesses booming. Now your host, Scott Andreasen.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Excavation Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Andreasen, and we have a very special guest today, Mr. Sam McNelly. Did I say your last name right, Sam?
You nailed it. You got it right.
Of TriStar Diggin. And the topic on today's podcast is going to be how TriStar Diggin and Sam is using YouTube as a resume to help win high-value jobs for excavation. Right. So can we start off, Sam, like with a background on you, how you first got started with your channel, and just kind of that whole story of what you do?
Yeah, so my story starts, I guess, I spent 23 years in law enforcement, and I started looking for something else, and then I looked into farming. So then my wife and I, we built a commercial chicken farm. We were raising about 1.3 million chickens a year for a while. So we were commercial farming and did that for about 5-6 years. Had a good chance to sell the farm and to do well selling it. And it's a kind of interesting story how I got it started in excavation work, because I had bought a skid steer on the farm, was using it. I was starting to do a little bit of side work around the farm. And then we get ready to sell the farm, and my wife asked me, she said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "What are you talking about, what I'm going to do?" She said, "We're selling the farm. You do not have a job." So that was a real moment to decide what I was going to do. So I said, I'll start an excavation business. And so that's kind of how I started into excavation work. I bought the skid steer, or had it, was using it. I bought a 20,000 pound excavator when I sold the farm, and then started using those together. And then just got more experience and started looking at bigger jobs. And then I called a friend of mine that owns a pretty large excavation company. I said, "Brian, what's my next step?" And he said, "A dozer." He said, "I know where there's two of them. It's a Cat D5 in Knoxville." He said, "I'll buy one, you'll buy the other one." I said, "Well, I guess I'll learn how to run a dozer." Now, let me say this. I had a little bit of skid steer experience. When I bought the excavator, I had never even sat in the excavator before. And same way with the dozer. I'd never run a dozer. So I just had the desire and the will to learn how to do excavation work. So I did that for, I guess, 2.5 years. And then I saw all these. Honestly, I learned a lot of what I do from watching YouTube. A lot of the guys on YouTube are doing excavation videos. You know, my hat's off to those guys. In the early days, that's where I learned a lot. And then I thought, okay, I saw them do it. They told me how they did it. Now I've got to go figure it out. That's how I started it. And then, so my YouTube channel started about 2.5 years into the excavation business. I've been doing YouTube now for fixing to start the 5th year of YouTube. And what I found is that it's a great opportunity not only to learn, if you're trying to learn how to do something, because you can search YouTube, but if it's changing a light bulb or taking the engine out of a car, somebody's got a video on it. And so for me, it was kind of a pay it forward too, because I'd learned a lot from YouTube, and I wanted to kind of help people too in my journey. If somebody could learn from my mistakes, then it wouldn't cost them maybe necessarily for them to make the same mistake. So that's where I am today, 6 years into excavation work, and like I said, starting my 5th year into YouTube.
Very nice. Now, what was the first video that got attention where you're like, wow, people are actually paying attention to this? And what kind of response did you get from potential customers?
Yeah, the first video, this channel was tough. Starting a YouTube channel is by far the hardest. It was a lot harder than starting the excavation business, actually, and building it to where it is today. And so the first video that I did that caught traction was a bulldozer video. And the title of the video was I built a new road on the wrong property. And that's literally what happened. But I'd say the last 100 yards of it was on the wrong property. I misunderstood the property markers. And here's a teaching moment. Never start a job without first walking it with the property owner. That taught me a lesson there, because he could have showed me exactly where the property lines were, and I wouldn't have had to guess at it. But anyway, the video did, I don't know, it's 500 and something thousand views now. It's well over 500,000 views, and the video has actually has made double the amount of money than actually I got paid to build the road. So,
Oh my gosh.
so the
Wow.
mistake turned out to be pretty good. But I took a lot of heat, a lot of ribbon in that video from comments. People, of course, making their bad comments, but that's where it took off from. And then and then as I've built the channel, I've realized that there are people learning how to do excavation work, and there's also people, DIY people, that are trying to figure out how to do it for themselves. And then there's also people that are watching YouTube to find somebody, hopefully in their area, that can do the work for them. So YouTube is a great opportunity for a person to showcase their work. And so if you go out and look at a job, say it's a road job, or going to build a pond, or dig a basement, whatever the case may be, you can point them in the direction of your YouTube channel. So here is my YouTube channel. I've got several videos of building ponds or digging basements, and you can see for yourself the type of work that I do. And then it does generate some, I guess you would call some calls where people just reach out to you. They try to figure out where you are and reach out to you. And some of those are from out of state. I've had several folks call me and say, "Hey, I'd like to come do my job. I'm in 2 states away." So I would love to be able to do that, and I hope to do that at some point, but it's not really set up for that at the moment. So YouTube is a great opportunity for you to visually show somebody the work that you do.
Yeah, for sure. Now, how long did it take you to take before people actually started seeing your business on YouTube and reaching out to you?
Well, as the channel grows, it's reaching more people, obviously. But early on in some of the first videos, people that were looking for work, and I'm going out and looking at jobs and showing them the YouTube channel, they'll call you back and say, I'll go ahead and book you, schedule you for the job, because they've seen your work. And then, so it starts slow at first. So at first, it's going to be more of a generator of people calling you back and say, they'll schedule the job because they've seen you work. And then eventually, over time, as the channel grows, people will start reaching out because they found you on YouTube. Not only have they found me on YouTube, but they've also, a friend of mine that's on the channel occasionally, his name's Mike Miller. He has gotten jobs from it because people saw him on the channel and knew he was from their area. So it's pretty cool it's a pretty cool tool to use, to not just tell somebody what you're doing, but show them what you're doing.
Yeah. And so, like, for positioning and, of course, trust building, a lot of contractors will use word of mouth and maybe Facebook posts. You're using what I would consider long form videos.
Right.
Some of them go an hour, hour and a half or more, showing real jobs. Now, how does that change the way customers see you?
In what respect? What do you
like when they interact with you? Is it still a price shopper mentality, or is it, well, I got Sam McNally on the phone, I know he's the guy?
A little
like
of both.
As far as your credibility and stuff, how have you found it's helped?
As far as credibility, it goes a long way, because once you start building a resume of videos on the channel, people can go back 1, 2, 3 years and see the consistency of your work and see the quality of your work over those years. And, some people specifically reach out and say, I want you to do this work. And then others are like, hey, I found you on YouTube. I'm 3 states away, but can you give me a general idea of what this could cost me to do this kind of job? So it's a little of both. Some are still price shopping. Some will just see your work and they'll just absolutely say, I don't want anybody else but you, because I see your work and I trust your work.
Mm-hmm. Would you say more often than not, it's people trusting you before you even met? Like the sale's halfway done just from them seeing you?
The sale's probably 99% done because they've seen the work and they've seen the quality of work. And so if I go out and look at digging a basement or digging footers for a house or whatever, when I get them on the phone, I talk to them on the phone, I will refer them to some other videos or maybe send them links to those videos. And pretty much you're going to get the job just by showing up because they've seen your work. Now, considering your price, you can't charge 3 times the price of somebody else and expect to get the job just because they've saw your videos on YouTube. But if your price is competitive, you're going to get the job because the thing about YouTube is that, and there's channels that I watch that I really enjoy. I feel connected to the person that I'm watching. And so there's a connection there already that I'm not aware of as a content creator, but yet they feel connected to the videos because they've watched them or they've seen the quality of work. And so the job is pretty much sold, as long as your price is within range of other people's.
Yeah, absolutely. What types of videos do you find actually move the needle for getting jobs? Is there any method to the madness, or how does that work?
Start to finish. People love to see start to finish. And some of the jobs that I do, I can't do all of that in one video, like a pond video. If I'm building a pond, it's going to be several videos. I think one of the ponds I built on the channel, probably 6 or 8 videos. I don't remember exactly how many it was, but it was a start to finish process or project, but it was over several videos. Gravel driveway videos are I call them YouTube gold. People love to watch gravel driveway videos. I think a lot of that's because it's DIY. They want to see if they can do it themselves, or secondly, how it's properly done because they've had some bad work done in the past. And so gravel driveways from start to finish, that is a really good way to showcase your work, is because they can take a rutted out, rough, ugly looking driveway and turn it into something that looks nice in 30 minutes. And that helps sell the job. And then, of course, pond videos are they are YouTube gold. People love watching pond videos on YouTube. And so the person that you're trying to sell the job to may not be building a pond. They may be building a road, but they see the quality of your work in that pond job, and then they will most likely, hire you for that job.
Yeah. Now, do you ever convert DIYers into jobs? They just say,
Yes.
I was going to do this, but
yes.
No. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get those phone calls and they say, well, I watched your video. I think I could do it. And I said, well, in thinking that you can do it, and some people can, if they have skills that can learn how to run a skid steer Mini X or have some basic experience, you can probably figure it out. But a job that will take me 2 hours could take somebody else 2 days. Because you can't just jump on a skid steer and know how to turn water and grade so that you're managing water to keep water off the road. You can here's the thing. Just about anybody can take a skid steer and make a road look good until it rains. and then the rain will tell on your work because it's going to rut the road back out and destroy it. So a lot of the DIYers will look at it and they'll say, well, I think I can do this if I rent skid steer. And I think, well, skid steer is going to cost you about, $400, $500, $600, $800 a day. It might take you 2 days to do it. And then if you put this down and you don't get it exactly right, you put fresh rock on it, that rock washes away. Well, that's going to cost you another $700 to $900 for the rock that you've spent on there. And it's not that you're trying to tell people they can't do something, because people don't want to hear that. They don't want you to tell them that they can't do it or they don't know how to do it. What they're looking for is somebody to coach them through the proper way to do it and let them decide for themselves. That's a little bit more work than I'm capable of doing. Several jobs that I've gone to over the years, people halfway through the job or part of the way through the job, they'll say, you know what? I was going to rent equipment to do that, but after watching you, I'm glad I didn't. Because they see the amount of work and the knowledge that it takes to do certain jobs that they just didn't account for.
Geez, I'm impressed with how you've developed a sales process around this of You're absolutely right. They would be like calling to have you coach them through it, and then they psychologically say, "No
Right.
way, I'm in way over my head. There's
Right.
no way."
Right. Yeah. Don't tell somebody they can't do it or don't know how to do it or they shouldn't do it. Coach them through the process and let them decide for themselves that that's a little bit more than I'm capable of doing.
When you go to do your next video project, now are you thinking of these as from a marketing perspective, or does it just kind of flow naturally? You're documenting your work.
I guess I'll look at it from a lot of different areas. Let me say this first about YouTube. And I get a lot of questions. Well, let me speak about the challenges for a second. Where we are now on the channel is 35,000 subscribers and a little over 6.5 million total views. And most popular video I have around 600,000 views. Generally get 10 to 20,000 views when videos come out. So now I am actually working on a opportunity to transition into full-time YouTube and go around the country, different states, different areas, work with people like me. That's a one-man show up to multi-million-dollar operations, showing the different aspects of how jobs are done and how to get jobs and how to properly do those jobs. So I'm kind of transitioning into full-time YouTube. So my mindset now is building the YouTube channel, and with that comes also the aspect of marketing, because now then, if I'm going to go to a job site that's in, say, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, wherever it is, and the owner operator of that company is a multi-million-dollar operation, he's going to want to. I've got to convince him that I'm worth my salt. That it's worth fooling with me. It's worth taking the time. So I'm also building the YouTube channel so that I can present that to other people too, and say, hey, I'd love to come promote your company, your business, and in doing that, here's what I'll offer you. Here's what I'll do. Now, let me go back to starting a YouTube channel. So if somebody says, this sounds cool, this sounds great, a great way for me to market my business, go into YouTube with the mindset that you're going to market your business, you're going to show a product to people and hoping to sell jobs. The mistake that a lot of people make going into making a YouTube channel is that they're going to be famous and they're going to make a lot of money. The numbers for that are very, very slim. In fact, some of the stats you look at in YouTube is that I think it's 20% of all channels started only make it to 1,000 subscribers. That's a big number. And then when you move up to 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, that percentage keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. So I would encourage anybody starting a YouTube channel, start it for the purpose of marketing your business and showing people what you can do. And then if it takes off, if it starts to grow and you're learning how to do YouTube and you see that you get success for it, pour yourself into it. But go into it as a tool to use to sell jobs initially, and then you won't get your feelings hurt if it doesn't work.
Yeah, good advice. Now, what's one video that you did that directly led to a big ticket job? Can you tell the story of how that client found you and how it actually turned into revenue?
Yeah, so I was doing a job not too far from my house, or about 15 minutes from my house, and I was doing a job cutting in a road. There's a lot of videos on this particular job, cutting in a road and building a house pad. I dug a huge borrow pit because we ran into a topsoil issue, too much topsoil on the site. Anyway, so I'm doing this job. The neighbor drives up and says, hey, I know you from YouTube. And I said, yeah, in fact, I'm doing some YouTube videos on this job, so you can be able to check those out. Your neighbors, you can be able to check that out. He said, well, now that you're here and I know you and I've seen your work, how about building me a road? So all those videos are also on the channel, and I think there's several of those. But that road ended up being 2,700-foot road from the county road back to where he's building the house. A lot of land clearing and a lot of creek crossing job to do. So when he saw me working there on that job site, he recognized me from YouTube, and then that led to the job there at his house next door. And there are other examples where people have saw me working on YouTube, and they've reached out to me. One interesting guy, I forget what state it was somewhere on the East Coast. He said, I want you to come do my project. He said, I'll rent the I'll rent you the equipment. He said, I'll pay your expenses. I'll pay you well for coming up here to do the job. He said, I want you to do this job. And I said, I would love to do that. And that's actually the story that kind of spearheaded the idea, of thoughts of turning this into full-time YouTube. Because I told him, I said, I would love to do that. And matter of fact, that puts a thought in my mind about doing that in the future. But right now I just can't, because I've got so many customers on the schedule that I can't leave them for, the time it would take to go to that state and to do that job. So it is great for marketing and advertising, in respect that people can see your work, and they will recognize you. Like that guy did working on that property next door. He recognized me, my equipment, and I got the job for him.
That's great. Now, for like a sales impact and pre-qualification, they obviously get educated on your content, but what about pricing? Do you share pricing for jobs in your videos, or do they come to you typically knowing what it costs? Can you touch upon that?
I talk very rarely do I talk about prices on YouTube, because somebody might see a video from 3 years ago or 4 years ago and say, well, you fixed that driveway for $1,000, and now you're quoting me that similar job for $3,000. So I just did a video a week or so ago, and it's an hour and a half long. And after our conversation about setting this meeting up, I actually titled that "Leveraging YouTube." I forget what the total name of the job is, but I said "Leveraging YouTube" for whatever it was. I titled it. That video was an hour and a half long, so I went in depth in that video, trying to help people that are in the business or just getting started in the business or want to start the business on some of the important things about starting a business, some of the fundamental things. And pricing, here's the thing about pricing, is that I may price a job for a certain amount of money, but somebody starting out in the business, they just can't price it that high because they don't have the experience to accomplish it in the time frame that I can, and or people even more experienced than me. There's a lot better operators out there in the world than I am. So your pricing has a lot to do with your skill set. What are you able to do, and how quickly can you do that? If I price a job at $1,200, and I can do it in 4 hours, I'm going to the next job. Where somebody else prices that job for $1,200, it may take them 3 days to do it. It's all based on skill level and your ability to accomplish the jobs.
Yep. Now, have you raised your prices, Sam, or been able to choose better clients because the content sets a certain standard?
Yeah, I think the more, let's see how the right way to say that is, the better your work is, the more quality product that you offer somebody, you ought to be paid for that. Because, starting out when I was doing driveways, and I'm glad I wasn't, honestly glad I wasn't doing YouTube when I first started, because, like I said, I'd never been on a dozer, I'd never been on an excavator, so there was a big learning curve for me. And, but going out and grading a driveway is pretty simple work, as long as you understand and you know how to manage water and get water off the roadway and things like that. So that's pretty basic. So if I go and do a job like that, I've got to be able to compete with the other guys that are doing that similar work. Now, if it's something a little more complicated, like a pond, and that's going to require some thought and some planning and the proper use of the soils and understanding the soils and where to build the dam and how to build the water line around it. And so you ought to be paid for those things, because that's not only you're doing the work, you should be paid for your knowledge and your experience to be able to do that work.
So can you walk us through how you would use videos in your sales process? It's one thing if they see your video and then they reach out to you, but let's say it's a referral or something like that, or it's just maybe a call in from an ad or something. How are you using your video then to help you out with closing the sale?
That's a good point. And the way that I do that is it's a very specific way. So if they call me and they're wanting to build a road across a swampy area, and it's a challenging road that not just you got to know how to do it. Crossing a swampy area, and then you got to clear some woods, and then you got to build a pad up the top of the house. I have videos that are specifically like that. Actually, one video series that I did was that it was a swamp road, and it was a job getting through that swampy area. And in order to do that, I started a borrow pit, digging out dirt, good clay to build the road with. And then I approached the owners and I said, hey, we're going to have a huge hole here in the ground where I'm digging this borrow pit. We've got a borrow pit that we got to do something with. This would be a great place for a pond. Here's my pond videos on what I can do as far as building you a pond. And that it was funny. The wife spoke up immediately. She said, yes, I want a pond. So not only did I have the job building that challenging road across the swamp, clearing the land, building the house pad up top, but I also sold a pond job in that process as well, because a lot of the work that I was already doing was a start of a pond.
Okay.
Oh,
nice.
To answer that question more specifically, so if somebody calls me and asks for a pond, so I'd like to build a pond on my property. I talk to them, try to get some ideas about how the land lays, and before I even go look at the property, I'll say I'm going to text you several videos that are about building ponds, and so I'll text them 3 or 4 videos of different ponds that I built, and they'll call back and say, when are you coming? So because
that's nice.
You can actually send them a link.
Sets you up as an expert before you actually get out there.
Exactly.
Now, when you do the videos, do you script it out?
No.
Like what you're going to say it's all natural conversation.
Yep.
Okay.
Now that's a good point, because a lot of the reason people watch YouTube rather than TV is because YouTube is real. It's raw and it's natural. And at the moment that I, as an excavator, start scripting out or start play acting or start creating things in my videos that people can tell aren't real or they're fake or that I created them, they're gone. They're going to watch something else, because they're looking for real genuineness in the person that's doing the channel. Now, there are channels out there that are scripted. They are produced. But the type of videos that I do, I've found that it's better to just be yourself and to be natural and just do the work that you're normally doing. People love explanations too. A lot of comments that I get, they say, thank you for explaining what you're doing because it helps me understand. So that's a key point too. And it's also, not only is it good for your YouTube channel to explain what you're doing so people can follow you and understand, but it's also good for your potential customers, the people that you're marketing to, so that they understand why you did that. And it helps them say, oh, okay, when you get on the job and you're having to do something that was kind of was unexpected, they could say, okay, well, I remember seeing that in a video, how he had this problem came up and he had to take care of that. I don't know if that made sense right there, but you're building when your YouTube channel, you're building the resume, as initially said, to show people what it is that you're capable of doing. And the selling point is you can say, here's a specific video link that shows you how to do that job.
Yeah, that's huge. Well, listen, I want to be conscious of time. I'm enjoying this conversation, and I've got more questions, but we're already coming up on about a half hour. How are we doing on time?
Yeah, it's 12:30. Yep. Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, if you want to keep going, I'm good.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I know our listeners will appreciate it. You're providing a lot of value. So what is your process like, Sam, of filming these videos? Like, how are you setting them up, uploading them? Can you explain a little of that?
That is hard work. That's exactly what that is. That is so if there's I would call it a misconception on building a YouTube channel or doing YouTube videos, and that you just turn a camera on and when you get done with your day, you just upload that raw video. Videos like that, a lot of people are doing those, but they're not very successful, because rarely will you ever see me in a video do more than 3 actions in one video segment. So if I'm digging a tree or a stump, you'll see several digs on one position, the camera's moved to another position. Because if you just set the camera up in one angle and you're showing yourself digging stuff for 15 minutes, within about 30 to 45 seconds or a minute, people are gone. Because they honestly watch YouTube just as I watch YouTube, for entertainment and to learn. Education and entertainment is the mainstay, I would say, of YouTube. So I'm constantly moving. If you watch one of my videos, you'll see camera angles from anywhere and everywhere. That takes time. So if you're working by the hour, some jobs that I do, I'm working by the hour, by the day, then I have to consciously keep up with how much time it is I'm spending moving cameras around and flying the drone and doing those kind of things, so that I'm not charging my customers for my YouTube video. So that takes more time out of your day. So you might have to add an hour, hour and a half of work during that day to compensate the customer for moving the cameras around and doing the things that you do for your YouTube videos. And then, so I move the camera around a lot of different angles, a lot of commentary in the video, explaining things. And so typically I may have anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours worth of video recording. And then I've got to go through all of that content and reduce that down to a 20 to 40 minute video. Those generally do the best, usually around 30 minutes. So out of hour and a half to 3 hours worth of content, I'm squishing that down into 30 minutes, trying to as best I can to show the completeness of the job. And so that might take me anywhere now. A simple 30-minute video could take me 2 hours. If I've got, say it's a 45-minute or an hour-long video, and I've got a lot of drone, an overlay in it, and some music and time lapse, and I've spent as much as 7 and 8 hours on a single video editing. So it's not just turn the camera on and upload it. It's a lot of work. And I didn't know anything about editing. I didn't know anything about recording. Honestly, if you go back and watch some of my very first videos, I did that the other day. I went back and watched the first one I did. I'm like, wow, that was bad. So, but I leave that on there because I want people to see the journey too. So if somebody has aspirations for YouTube to build a YouTube channel, they can go back and look at my first video and see the transition over 4 years and say, wow, what a difference. The way that I talk, the way that I present myself, the way that I use the camera and all of that. It's a journey, and I want to share that journey with people that are watching.
Yeah. So yes, the videos need to be edited without a doubt. And then you're also conscious that, hey, this needs to be entertaining too. People are actually going to be watching this. Okay.
Exactly.
What about, like in the YouTube channel, they have the analytics. Do you pay attention to that? Like which videos bring in leads or keywords, any of that kind of stuff?
Yep. I do look at analytics a lot, and it's what you call analyst. What is that called? Analytics paralysis. I didn't say it right, but you can look at it so much that it just bogs you down. And what I would suggest that somebody starting YouTube is that, and they do have, it's called YouTube Studio. And in YouTube Studio, my goodness, they give you statistics for anything and everything imaginable about your channel. And you can get really bogged down by trying to learn that stuff too early. My suggestion is just start your YouTube videos and learn how to edit and learn how to talk and learn how to show things in your videos, and learn the analytics slowly, because there's just so much information in there. But yes, I do go back and look at it. The thumbnails and titles are crucial to a YouTube video. Those are my least favorite things to do in a YouTube video, is the thumbnail and title, and they're honestly the most important part of the video. Now, yes, once you get somebody to click on a video and they start watching it, you want them to stay and watch it. So the content has to be good. But if you can't get them to click, they're not going to see it. You can have the best video in the world, but if you don't have a good thumbnail and title, they'll never see the video. So it's really crucial. And I here's a secret, pro tip. Secret is ChatGPT. ChatGPT has completely changed the way that I write titles, descriptions, tags, hashtags, everything to do with the setting up of the video to go to YouTube, I do through ChatGPT, and it is absolutely amazing. Now, I was taking my thumbnail and putting it in ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to make some changes, but it got to where the thumbnails were too cartoonish looking. They were too they weren't realistic, and I had a string of about 6 or 8 videos I did as a test, and I thought the thumbnails looked good, but people kind of didn't like them. It's like I can tell that the watch history was down, the click-through rating was down. I'm like, okay, I'm done with GPT for the thumbnails, but the title and the descriptions, that is amazing. You can take a picture of your excavator and a bulldozer sitting there on a gravel road, put that into ChatGPT, and say, write a YouTube thumbnail, write a YouTube title for this video, and describe what you did, and it will blow your mind what it comes up with. Some of the best titles I've ever read come through ChatGPT. Also, ChatGPT for doing estimates. I don't know if you've touched on this in your videos before, but if you go out and bid a job, and you go out and look at a job, all you do is come back with basic information. 2,100 feet of road, it's going to take 10 loads of rock, and you just put the basic information in there in some sort of outline, and you ask ChatGPT to build you an estimate that you can give your customers. Blow your mind. It will write an estimate for you that you can tweak a little bit, and is very professional looking, and that you can send out to customers.
Those are 2 really great tips. Absolutely. Yeah. For contractors that are just starting out with this, and they want to start a YouTube channel, but they feel awkward on camera, what's your best advice?
Wow. It's hard. Because you just got to try it to see if it's going to work for you. Awkwardness is really noticeable on camera. And here's another thing. As I have watched, I don't know how many hours of the YouTube gurus teaching YouTube and how to do it. I've hours and hours and hours and hours watching those guys teach YouTube and how to make videos. And one of the things that I learned that was one of the best information that I'd gotten from it was, they said, you know how a camera will add 10 pounds to your weight? They said a video will rob 50% of your personality.
Yeah.
And I was like, that made a lot of sense, because here's the thing. You go look at my first video and you look at the last one I posted, you're going to notice a significant difference in the way that I present myself, because awkwardness is noticed. And if you're awkward on camera, people are going to be awkward watching it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody's relatable and you can kind of relate to the guy, and his personality's coming through, and I didn't have to ramp up my personality much because it's already there. But you got to get over that awkwardness and shyness on camera, and the best way you can do that is turn the camera on and practice. Just post one video after another, and you will get better over time talking in front of the camera. And
yeah.
I get people ask me, say, well, how do you know what to say? Because you ask about scripting. How do you know what to say, or how do you decide what you're going to say? And I basically describe it like this: I know the project that I'm working on. I know what I'm going to do next. I don't think about it. I just turn the camera on and I just start talking. That's how I do it, because that's genuine, it's raw, and it's real.
Yep. What is something that you wish you knew earlier about YouTube, Sam, that would have helped you grow faster?
Titles and thumbnails, for one, how important that truly is. And then the part about building a personality, because that's how people are connecting to you on YouTube, is your personality. So you've got channels you like to watch, and probably everybody watching this podcast or this live feed has YouTube channels that they like to watch. And my one question would be to you and to everybody watching this: what is it about that channel that you enjoy? and it's going to be that person's personality. Whether it's quirky personality, it's a weird personality, or a really energetic personality, it's generally the person that you're watching. You enjoy watching that person doing whatever it is they do.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's like flavors of ice cream, perhaps. Some like vanilla
Right.
today, chocolate
Right.
tomorrow. And so everyone can just be themselves, and
Right.
your audience is going to gravitate to you.
Yep. And
Yeah.
you're not, here's the thing about it is, and a lot of people, and this is good advice from those people that teach YouTube, is that a lot of content creators blame the algorithm for not showing their videos. And this guy said this one time, it made so much sense to me. He said, if you're making videos that people enjoy watching, the algorithm will take care of that. The algorithm will reward. And so he said, stop looking at it as it's the algorithm and look at it as a community. If you're serving the community is going to show up, right? So that's the thing about YouTube is we have to stop, as content creators, we got to stop looking at it as the algorithm, looking at it as a community. I'm building a community. There are people that watch me on YouTube that will never come back and watch my channel again, ever, because they didn't like what they saw. They didn't like my personality. It's different flavors. They'll find another excavation channel that they like. That's maybe a little different than mine. And then there are other people that watch my channel that watch every single video that I do. So you're not trying to win over everybody. You're trying to build a community of people that enjoy what you're doing.
If YouTube were to go down tomorrow and you lost all your videos, just the whole thing got deleted, what would be like the first 3 videos you would recreate to get business flowing again?
I would build a road on somebody else's property.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then I would build a couple ponds after that.
Yeah.
You don't intentionally want to build a road on somebody else's property, but that was a mistake that I made that was really, really beneficial to the channel. And, fortunately in that video, the neighbor that I cut the road on the wrong property, that he was one of the most gracious people that I'd ever met in my life. I mean, he was not even upset he wasn't even upset for 30 seconds. He came up there and I explained what I did. He said, things happen. I know you're going to fix it. So that could have been really, really bad. But so honestly though, I wouldn't cut a road on somebody's property just for video. But if I was starting over on YouTube, pond videos and driveway videos, people love to watch both of those.
Okay. Now, when you look at your business today, TriStar Diggin, and you look at the jobs, the revenue, the brand, how much of that do you think you owe to YouTube?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know that YouTube has been the success of the business because your work has to carry you, right? You could do a couple good videos on YouTube and then you go up and mess up 3 or 4 jobs and people start talking about you. That will ruin your business. So even on the jobs where I'm not doing a YouTube video, the quality still has to be there. So YouTube, I will say that YouTube has helped as far as selling jobs and getting the jobs that people call you about because they can see the videos. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but the success of your business.
Let me ask it the exact opposite way. If you did not have a YouTube channel at all, would that have a significant impact on your business?
No.
If it didn't exist? No. Okay.
No, because it's a lot of the people. I do get some business from YouTube, but a lot of the people that watch YouTube are in other states and even other countries. It's funny because it's really amazing actually that people in other countries watch your channel or watch your videos. There was one video I did, the name of it was called building a road. What was it? Building a road across Hickory Ridge or something like that. And that video popped off and it took off almost immediately. So I got to looking at the statistics and the stats on that, and it was Cambodia. And what was driving the views on that video it was being watched in Cambodia a lot. And I just it just blows your minds. The top countries for the channel now is obviously the US, Canada, Australia, and then United Kingdom. And then from there on, it's Indonesia. It's amazing. France, Germany, all over the world, people watch these videos. So YouTube is not the success of the business. Your business has to stand on its own. And but it does help you win those jobs that well, for instance, so if a guy's going to build a pond and he has 3 people coming to estimate it, 2 of them say, yeah, I'll come do this for X number of dollars. This is what I'll do. This is what I'll do. You show up and say, yeah, I can do this. I'll do this for this price. Here's 3 videos of me building a pond. Who's going to get that job? Most likely you are if you're in the ballpark of the price.
Yeah. So your closing percentage has got to be really high, I would think.
Really high. Yep.
Do you see yourself expanding on other platforms besides YouTube?
I have a little bit of, I guess you'd call presence on Facebook and Instagram. And so I do some posting on Instagram and Facebook, but not a whole lot. And they're the same name, TriStar Diggin. But it's just, here's the thing about you can spread yourself too thin. So if I'm really working hard at YouTube and I'm spending my time on Facebook and Instagram, which is in the grand scheme of things, not accomplishing much, then I'm better off spending my time on YouTube, putting all my effort there. So right now, I mentioned going kind of full time is kind of what my plan is, and going out visiting different excavation companies across the country. Right now, I'm spending about 25% of my time on YouTube, and the growth is good. But I'm thinking, well, what if I put the other 75% of my time in on YouTube? What would it do then? So, it's taking it from 25% to 100% YouTube and just see what happens.
Yeah.
But, I'm still trying to iron out the details of that and trying to figure that out too.
Cool. So I think you kind of answered this of what's next for TriStar Diggin.
Okay.
And that would be like the, going full time on YouTube. Anything else? Bigger projects, collaborations, new equipment?
As far as equipment goes, I'm really satisfied with what I have. Just to run over that, I have a Cat 313, which is a 30,000 pound excavator, a Cat 304, about an 8,000 pound excavator, a Cat D5 dozer, which is the old dozer. It's not they're now called a D3. And then I got a JCB off-road haul truck, a Mack dump truck, a Volvo packer, and then a lot of attachments for the skid steer. So that's kind of where I am with the one-man show. I am looking at hiring a guy here in the next few weeks. He actually runs his own business in Maine. He's relocating here to Tennessee, and be a good fit for the business. So my thought is that once I get him in place and he can kind of handle those jobs, maybe hiring another guy, they would handle the business, the excavation work, which would give me an opportunity to go out and do what I want to do. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but it's kind of what's going through my mind at the moment. Now, as far as collaborations, I'm going to be going down pretty soon, probably after the first year, to meet with Hank Hamilton of Hamiltonville Farms. He's got 2 channels. Hank Hamilton is his tractor channel, and HF Outdoors he's transitioned into an outdoors channel. So I'm going to go down and build a pond for him. And then it may be in the works to go to Middle Tennessee to build a pond over there for a YouTube guy. And so there's other collaborations along the way. I just come back from Louisville, Kentucky, the Equip Expo there, and there's a lot of YouTube guys there. And I got to meet with a lot of those folks that I already knew, and then met some new folks too. That's one of the cool things about YouTube is as your channel grows, it gives you a lot of cool opportunities to meet some other people and be able to do those collaborations like you talked about.
Nice. Just a few more questions, if that's okay. What is your favorite camera or gear for filming?
So I had used GoPro for a while. I think my first one was a 7, and then I had an 8, a 10, and 12, I think. Maybe I didn't have the 12. No, I transitioned from the 10 when I broke it. I transitioned to the DJI. The DJI Action 5 Pro is hands down the best camera that I've used so far. It has to use, and I also use my camera's not here handy, but I also use a microphone, a wireless microphone. So that DJI Mic 2 is what it's called, automatically syncs up with the camera when you turn the microphone on. Whereas the GoPro models I was using had an external receiver, which you had to turn the GoPro on, you had to turn the receiver on, you had to turn your microphone on, then you had to make sure those were synced up, and it was just awful. I lost so much video and audio through that. And then GoPro, I guess I'm kind of giving GoPro a hard time, but they are notorious for overheating, and they shut off, and they have glitches that just shut down for no reason. The Action 5 Pro has been an absolutely excellent camera. And then as far as drone, I use I'm on my fourth, maybe fifth drone because of crashes. I've destroyed several of them. But now I'm using the DJI Mini 3 Pro that has the built-in screen. Because before you had to take in the other drones I was using, you had to take your camera and put it in the controller and plug a wire into it. Well, the Mini 3 Pro has the built-in screen, which makes it a lot easier. So that's the gear I'm using now. I use one camera and I use one drone.
Awesome. What's one video that you almost didn't post, but now you're glad that you did it?
That's a good question. And it was an excellent video and it did really well. So I had the neighbor job that I said that knew me from YouTube and asked me to do the road project at his place. The video that I'm talking about in particular was a dump trucking video. I had the road built and all I needed to do was put rock on it. And I had to haul, I forget now, eight or nine loads of rock. And I thought, that's going to be a boring video. I'm not even going to do a video on hauling rock. And so I decided, well, let's see what happens. Because people like watching dump trucks spread rock. A YouTube short with a dump truck back spreading or spreading rock usually does really well. There's something about a dump truck spreading rock that people enjoy watching. So I thought about that. I thought, okay, let's make a long form video of dump trucking, and it actually did really well. I forget what the numbers are now, but I'm glad I did it because that video did well. Some of the videos, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because some of the videos that I do that I may spend 7 or 8 hours editing on, I think this is it. This will be the video that will do really, really well. It won't. And then the video is just, like, I don't even know if anybody cares about this video, can take off. That's the thing about YouTube is you have no idea what people are going to take interest in and watch it. Like I said, there's some videos that I thought this is useless, but they did really well.
Yeah, good tips. What is the most surprising opportunity, Sam, or call that you've ever gotten from someone who watched your videos?
Yeah, that's a good question. It gives me opportunities to do like I'm doing now today with this Facebook Live and podcast video. Is that the more that your channel does well, the better your channel does, the more opportunities you get. And without name dropping, I've been to see a lot of guys that are in YouTube and have some pretty large channels, and got to meet some guys that I've been watching for years. And when you're sitting in their shop, you're looking around, you're like, how did I get here? It's kind of like it's a great opportunity, to meet the people that even you watched for years and years and years. And it's, but like I said, as your channel grows, as it builds, you get some pretty cool opportunities to do stuff. Now, and also sponsors. So I do promotions in my videos for products that companies that have reached out to me, and I've had some pretty cool opportunities in those. They see the benefit and the value of you promoting their product, and they make you some generous offers. And here's the thing about my channel. I haven't and don't really intend to promote products that are not associated with excavation work. I've seen some pretty goofy commercial promotions on some other channels. like, why in the world? I know why they're doing it. It's for money. But I'm like, that has nothing to do with what you're doing. But some people see the money in it and they just say, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. But I say that kind of with some reservation. If a company reaches out to me and they offer me $10,000 to do a promotion in a video that's a 60 or 90 second promotion, what do you do? I mean, that's an opportunity you probably don't want to pass up. But I take all of those promotions that I do seriously, so that I'm not just boring people with something that they don't care about anyway. They're watching the Excavation channel because they want to learn about excavation work. And if I can offer a product or a company that's promoting that or helping somebody to accomplish a job, then that's obviously something I want to be involved in.
Yeah. Now, what I'd like to do is announce. I want to show people your channel, and then how else can people get in touch with you if they want to reach you? TriStarDiggin.com is my website I sell stuff on there: hats, shirts, stickers. Right now, that's the three things I'm selling on TriStarDiggin.com. And then I also have an email, which is TriStarDiggin@gmail.com. So that's my email, and then my and like I said, my website. Awesome. So I'll share it real quick. So this is the YouTube channel, folks. TriStar Diggin, right there, and Sam's website, TriStarDiggin.com.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, Sam, you were a wealth of information. This was a lot of fun. I enjoy your channel. I think a lot of other people will too.
Yeah.
They already do, but I think it's going to grow by leaps and bounds. I really enjoyed this.
I appreciate it.
Yep. So thank you so much for your time. And folks, go check out Sam, check out his YouTube channel, check out his website, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well, right?
Yeah. And comment. Comments are big.
And comment. Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey there, Excavation Pros. If you enjoyed today's podcast, make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast and channel. Leave us your feedback and let us know how we did. And hey, if you're interested in taking your excavation or septic business to the next level online, make sure you visit excavationmarketingpros.com today and take advantage of our free resources and mastermind group for excavation and septic industry professionals.